All right. Hello, everybody is here. I just was turning off all of my alerts and stuff so we don't get distracted. Welcome to another Ask an Expert webinar at Maxsold, and this one is going to be a fun and unique twist to what we usually do. So we do have some panelists here, and I'm going to have them each introduce themselves in just a moment. And we do have some questions that we're going to be asking them about how they integrate Maxsold into the services they provide clients. They'll be digging into how they structure their pricing when it comes to offering the Maxsold model, as well as a few other interesting topics that we think will be useful for everybody. I know we're still letting people join. It looks like we're up to 32 people right now in the audience. I know in the past we've said that we would, hold questions till the end, but this whole event is about asking questions and getting some ideas and answers. So as I pose questions to our panelists, please feel free to contribute your thoughts and questions into the chat here, and we'll be monitoring that and trying to answer those as we go based on the topics. As usual, this is a CEU eligible webinar, so we'll have two code words that we can provide, and the first code word is going to be the word hourly, like hourly pay, HOURLY, hourly, and we'll provide the second code word at the very end of the webinar today. But okay, it looks like it's almost 6:05, so I'm going to get started. And I'm just going to first have our partners here introduce themselves, tell you who their business is. And I'm going to start with Robin, and then we'll go to Danielle, and then we'll go to Nicole. How does that sound? Guys, that work for you? All right, so welcome, Robin. You're muted, just so you know.
Sorry, that was me. Heather, I think there's a little
Oh,
bit of background noise on your end. I'm hearing you delayed. Do you have another
no, I don't have anything
window
else.
open?
I
Oh,
don't. That's odd. I do not. Let me just double check here. I'll just double check. Nope, I don't have any other window open. But I can always leave and come back if you want me to try and do that. Okay, Julie said it doesn't seem delayed to her. And Robin is muted. I don't know if
okay.
you're able to.
Sorry, it should be good now. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. Robin, are you able to unmute and introduce yourself? And if you can't, Danielle can start, and then you can go after
Oh, okay,
Danielle.
I've got it off. All right. Hello. Robin Abb here. I live in Port Townsend, Washington, which is the inside tip of the Olympic Peninsula. I have been a senior move manager with the company Smooth Transitions for the last 9 years, although I'm going to be transitioning myself very soon into a new name and rebranding as the Downsizing Doula.
Wonderful. And Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle from One Source Moving Solutions in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. We are a franchise company that operates 7 locations in Canada currently. Okay.
Wonderful. And Nicole, welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Raymer, and I am the owner of Organized Haven in Lakeland, Florida. We've been a senior and specialty move management company for 12 years. I started as a professional organizer, me, myself, and I for the first 3 years, and then I joined NASM 3 years later and became a senior move manager and certified a year after that. We have a team of 10 right here in Central Florida, and we are our own licensed moving company as well. So we're a one-stop shop for anyone downsizing and moving, and a Maxsold partner for 9 years. We've had about 100 partner managed sales.
Awesome. Okay, and just a little feedback, Nicole. Joan said that she had a little bit of a hard time hearing you. What you said did come across, but it did sound a little farther away. So I don't know if
Okay.
there's a volume to turn up.
Yep, I'll work on that. Thank
Sorry.
you.
Okay. Well, we'll dig into this and jump right in. The first question that we had today for our partners here are, how do you currently structure your pricing for partner managed max sold auctions? And I'm going to let Robin jump in with her answer here first.
Okay, great. Well, because as we all know, there's so much work involved in the downsizing, decluttering, sorting, and creating the lots that we were working for just a percentage of the auction, we couldn't survive. So I bill the same hourly rate that I do for packing and overseeing moves and everything else for the cataloging and running the pickup day.
Awesome. And Danielle.
So we charge a per lot fee. So all the sorting and creating the lots, we bill hourly, and then we bill a per lot fee for photography, listing, and pickup. So it's a different type of structure.
I think there will probably be a follow-up question on that one, Danielle, and I would guess that it's going to be what do you factor in order to decide what that per lot fee would be? Do you look at the hours that you spend on the pickup day and also the
Yeah, so we, in the per lot fee, we basically tell our team they have so many so much time to take the photography and do the description. And also we look at how many people we're going to need on pickup day and things like that. So we do provide that all inclusive. So when we're finished a Maxsold sale, when people start clearing lots that haven't been purchased, things like that, then we go into hourly again because we do the cleaning part of the home as well, as after the Maxsold auction is finished. We just find that by doing this, in the beginning, you were up and down here and there. But in the end, we've kind of mastered it. And now we're going to see using the new app. We have an auction already loaded. We're starting photography tomorrow with the new app, how speedy this is going to go. And we might be able to adjust some of our pricing structure for the client, because I think the client, it's easier for them to understand. If you have 100 lots, it's now going to be X amount of dollars. It's it's just a different way. I've done 70, is this my 76 auction or I don't know, something like that. So it is a different way of doing it. You have to be really on top of it. You have to look at the hours that they're working, with the amount of lots that they're doing and things like that. So it's just a matter of, there is a math structure to it. And again, it's just a matter of keeping on top of your team, to make sure that all of that is lining up. So that way it almost works out to the exact same if you bill the hourly rate. So instead of telling someone, okay, we're going to charge, we don't know how much it's going to be. We just say, if you'd like to do an auction, it's, so much per lot. And then they can understand, oh, you have 200 lots. Well, guess what? It's this much money, right?
Okay, wonderful. We do have some questions coming in, but I want to
I
let
can see them
Nicole.
all.
I know we're going to get to everybody's questions after each of you guys have shared how you currently structure your pricing, and then I'll ask you guys the questions that are coming in. So Nicole, feel free to share with us how you do this.
Yeah, first, thank you, Joan, and all the others who shared that my mic was low. How is it now? If you can let me know before I get too deep in this, and I'll reintroduce myself too. Not much better, Joan says, very low. So you know what? I did this for y'all, so you don't hear my kids in the background, but we're just gonna
How about now?
Better.
That better? I still have to
Better.
turn, you know what? I'm gonna, hold on one second. Yeah, now I don't have to wear this at all anymore. I can hear you on my computer too. Better now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So to start over, I'm Nicole Raymer, the owner of Organized Haven in Central Florida. We're in Lakeland, so we're pretty much center of the whole state of Florida. We serve all of Central Florida and beyond. I have been a Maxsold partner for 9 years. We've done about 100 sales, and all of them were partner managed. So we do everything from the sorting to the cataloging and photography to a very detailed managed pickup. We actually even pack our lots for our buyers. So our client is paying for that. I started my company as an organizing company. It was 3 years in that I added move management. But as of 5 years ago, we're our own licensed and insured mover as well. So we're a one-stop shop for all things downsizing, moving, decluttering, and aging in place. And we have a team of 10 to include my husband. So we spend a lot of time together with our team and our kids, who I also homeschool. Anyhow, to the pricing model, mine is very different too. Our pricing is all on square footage, density, and touch level. I learned long ago that pricing takes time, estimating takes time, and I don't have much of it, as you can imagine. And so in lieu of putting together an estimate that could change and cause dissatisfaction with our clients in the end, while I did that for 10 years and our pricing was pretty, um, we were confident in our pricing, it took a lot of time to figure out. So my method is all about efficiency and simplicity and making sure that we can be transparent and honest with our client upfront about what all of our services are going to cost. And because I trust my team to work efficiently, I'm not too worried about how much time it's going to take. Of course, if there's anything like dementia or chronic disorganization, there's going to be some extra hand holding and a higher touch level may be applied. All of this is made easier by the right software, which is available at NASM for those of you who are NASM members or those of you who are interested in potentially becoming a senior move manager and having access to that software. And I like for my clients to know how much this is going to cost them and not be worried about our pricing increasing. Honestly, it makes it easier for us too to manage and budget and ensure that we know what we're going to be collecting by the end of the project.
Okay, excellent. Um, Now, looking at the chat here, I see Tracy said, I would be curious to hear what the gold standard is for how much time someone spends on cataloging. And that is a very interesting question right now, because as everybody on this panel probably knows, there's kind of an evolution happening with the new app that we have. So everybody is kind of reassessing time. Like, I think Danielle, you touched on that a little bit. And yeah, Nicole, anybody that's been running sales is seeing that the time it took to do certain things before is taking less time now. And it's a little bit of a different process. But I don't know if any of you would like to speak to that, what Tracy Marsh was asking.
Yeah, I can. Smart cataloging, it works. It's great. I love it. I use it a lot, especially for something that is interesting and unique and, isn't everyday cleaning supplies or something like that, which is also great to sell and does well in a sale, but it, may not require that. It does require Wi-Fi in the home, so you could have delays with that, where it's going to take the same amount of time as if you were to enter the information on yourself. So it just depends. I would say that each lot on average would take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, just depending upon all of those factors. My model may add some extra time to it because of the fact that we are packing things up as we go. We want to clear a space quickly. Oftentimes our clients are still living in the home And so we can't just leave all of this stuff out, and there's not enough space on all of the countertops and any other flat surface areas inside cabinets and closets. So, you know, my move managers, my organizers, my movers, they're all catalogers and packers. And so we just kind of work in conjunction with each other and keep each session organized by packing things up as we go. So it's going to take us a little longer, but I think we also complete the job a lot faster that way.
I could weigh in.
Go ahead.
You know, the fastest job I ever did was a house where the couple had no clutter. Everything they owned was really nice, high-end, lovely stuff. We were able, with 2 teams went of 2, and we were able to catalog the entire house in 1 day, which was a marvelous thing. But, you know, on a typical job, I'd say we might be able to catalog 30 to 40 lots in a day with a team of 2. We do a certain amount of packing. I don't know how thorough the packing Nicole is, but I've been packing things in boxes from the very beginning when I first started working with Maxsold, which was, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. And I don't mean to brag, but I've got over 250 auctions under my belt. So, you know, we're ready to hand off these produce boxes as people show up. The only thing we wrap, actually, to take the time to wrap so they don't break, are things like crystal. Everything else is just kind of loosely in a box, and we're ready to hand it off.
Produce boxes are the best kept secret for Maxsold sales. I have to say, they are the best.
They are the best.
Danielle, was there anything you wanted to add on that?
We haven't packed anything since the pandemic, when we used to put squares on the driveway and it would be like, anyway, so when we used to do it during the pandemic, but we have not packed a thing since the pandemic. Everybody, we don't even, if people don't have their stuff ready when they're coming for pickup in line, we make them go back to their cars and get back in line. Like it's very seamless. We do bring extra packing. Sometimes we try to recycle as much as we can. And we might bring some extra packing paper and things like that for, you know, and we might just leave a few bags laying around for people to use. But no, we don't pack anything. They have to be prepared at the front door with their packing supplies before we allow them in the house. We have 1 team member that follows them to their lots, guides them, and then escorts them back out of the house. You know, we try to make people be accountable on Maxsold used to have a time constraint for your pickup times, and some people would not follow that, but we try to keep people very structured and remind them that if they have a lot of lots and they're by themselves with a cane and they have 80 lots to pick up, that they need to be, you know, maybe they should call someone to help them. But no, we try to make sure that everything's very efficient and quick. And of course, to try and keep costs as minimal as possible to the client.
Awesome. And I think, Danielle, earlier you did answer Joan's question. Joan, you can put it again in the chat if she didn't, but you discussed the per lot fee only being for specific things, and then you discussed what you charge for hourly.
Yeah. So all of your lotting and things like that, even to put the numbers on everything, that's hourly. The way that we charge it per lot is just photography and descriptions and pickup. But the minute our team starts to clean or do something else, then it switches back to hourly. So some of our team halfway through the pickup might stop doing pickup people and start cleaning and doing the rest of the next phase of the job. So it's just a matter of communicating with your team, you know, what's going to happen. And I mean, now with the new app with AI and all that, we just did 3 auctions. We had 2 huge estates over the last couple months. We had 3 auctions at each house at almost 400 lots per auction.
Wow.
So massive properties with car parts and very strange things, you know, just things that our team had no clue what the heck it was. We did spend a lot of time doing extra things for this estate, and our $20 per lot thing was not going to work for this. So we had to explain to the executor, because of the vast amount of things and the things that we had no clue what they were for. This gentleman had an airplane, he had 6 cars, 2 Harleys, and how do we know where those parts were without using Google Lens, like AI, to help us identify those things, or hire a car guy, a Harley guy, a plane guy, to do all these things. So we talked to the executor, and she was totally fine with the adjustment of hourly. The best thing you can do is communicate. If you don't communicate, then that's where you run into problems.
Yep, that is true. So, a question for you guys from Janelle. How do you know how many lots you will have before starting to put things together? That's kind of a good question. So, if you're in there and you're about to get started, do any of you want to take this one?
I have no idea till we get started. I can tell if it's going to be a small or a large auction. And like Danielle said, if I see it being a huge auction, then I'm going to recommend we do more than one.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys
Well,
have an answer?
And this is why we went to that structured pricing of per lot, because then how do you estimate it? Every nook and cranny, when you start pulling everything out, then you're like, oh, where's all this stuff come from? And they even say, where's this stuff come from? I don't know. It's your house. Like, but you don't really know. And sometimes you can tell. Obviously, when we did that massive estate, I actually thought we were going to do 4 auctions, and my sales manager was like, you really think so? And I was like, I don't know. And then the other one we did each floor. Like, the basement was an auction, the main floor was an auction, the upper was an auction. And I thought we were going to have a 4th auction too, but we just had one that was almost 500 lots. So, it's really hard to tell. And I used to do an hourly, and then we tried the per lot thing, and that works for us. But again, it might not work for everyone.
I had someone on my team before she went remote and moved to Naples that was so good at this, at estimating the number of lots. And while, it's not impossible, we certainly can do it if we take the time to walk through each space and notate, the client's comments on how much of it they're downsizing. But there's so much unknown at the start of it. During a consult, at the time of estimating a project, you really don't know. I have our auction that just went live tonight that experienced probably 5 different sets of removals. And then I locked the draft last night, and she had 2 more removals this morning because she decided to sell it out from under us. So that happens too. You just never know, especially if you're managing a large downsize. And if you're working with anyone that has any memory problems, those things are more likely to happen, where they forget that, they signed a contract here and that they're not supposed to remove anything after. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we're not going to have any more challenges with her. So we've had a couple of them that we have also had to split up into multiple auctions. One in particular was a total of about 700 lots. So each of them had 350, which by itself is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why for me, it doesn't work, the per lot method, when it comes to estimating, because you just don't know. And the hourly is the same thing. There's just so many unknowns that it's hard to tell. But I just believe in transparency, and I want to keep it simple. Now, if there are changes to the project scope, we certainly can adjust that in the end. I did want to answer Janelle's question too, because I'm unable to reply to everybody. So she asked, what type of boxes do I use, and do I charge the client for that? I charge my moving clients for my boxes. We have our own branded boxes. We reuse those boxes only for our Maxsold sales and our discards and donates. And so those are not a charge to our Maxsold clients. And to comment back on Danielle, not packing anymore since the pandemic. That's actually when I started it. I wanted, can you envision the time when we used to have to keep 6 feet away from each other? We would literally put a 6 foot table outside the front door and slide their box down the table,
Mhm.
and then they can go on. And while we don't have the 6 foot distancing requirement anymore, we just loved that experience of not having to deal with the people who came unprepared, and the time that it took them to pack things up in comparison to our professionally trained and experienced packers. So it just makes it easy for us. Our client pays for it. They appreciate the um, efficiency there.
Yeah, I can weigh in a little more too. The way I estimate jobs, I use a very simple term. It's a ballpark. I just go in and I let them know I'm going to do my very best. I walk through the house. I'm giving them the 1 hour free consult, and I'm looking around and doing my best to imagine how long would it take for 2 people to finish this room. And I come back and I ballpark it between if it's going to be 6 or 7 days. I tell them how much that is going to be in dollar wise, but I also am very clear it could go more, it could come less. And that, and I doing it hourly is just I'm covering every aspect of what we're going to do. I also agree with you about handing off the boxes. Oh my God, I want those pickups to be done in 3 hours. I
Exactly.
mean, we've got people coming that we have to help load. And one of the things I'm able to tell my clients that's a real benefit. There are several benefits I tell them. One is, of course, that the effect on their neighborhood is going to be greatly reduced by having only people who purchase something showing up. It's not going to be like an estate sale and they're lined up around the blocks blocking everybody's driveways. That we're going to hand everything off within minutes and then they're gone. And that the only people who walk inside their house are the ones picking up heavy items such as furniture. Otherwise, we've got it in the garage or driveway and we're ready to hand it off. I also work a lot of rural jobs where there's a 1 lane dirt driveway and room for 2 or 3 cars at the other end. And I'm on the street with a walkie talkie handling how many people can come in. But we still are done within 3 to 4 hours, got them all in and out and loaded. And nobody's ever questioned my ballpark estimate. It just is, I'm being very transparent. They get to see how every hour is spent because I give them a summary at the end along with their invoice of here's how many days we worked, here's how many hours, here's what got accomplished that day, here's how many dump fees there were, here's, there's very few expenses we add other than dump or shredding. But, and we just, it just goes pretty smooth.
Yeah, definitely. I have
use
not
our
done as many
big
auctions as you guys, but I've done probably a little more than 50 for my organizing clients, and I count auction lots to create my estimates in the beginning. I walk the rooms in the house and I count in each room how many auction lots I think there will be. And I've gotten good at doing it in kitchens. I do open every cabinet and I kind of estimate the number of auction lots per room and then I add them up at the end. Now, the more jam-packed a house is, basement, attic, the harder that becomes, of course, because you don't know what's in boxes. And that's just the way it is. Let's see some other questions here. Oh, do any of you take a percentage of the sale in addition to the hour or the way you price or instead of, I guess?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Yep.
And can I quickly ask, why is that? I know the answer, but why is that?
Um, there could be a multitude of answers. I mean, one could be because they're already paying a percentage to Maxsold for the commission. Two, oftentimes, whatever commission we might charge in addition to that, I think on average may not actually cover our costs because it costs more to clear a house than you earn in the proceeds off the sale of the goods inside of the house.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you have a high value auction. Out of those 100 I mentioned that I've done, there's been one true high value auction selling Salvador Dali's, Rembrandt prints, century old documents. This was a $25,000 sale and our costs were 10. So You know, our client was able to profit off of that experience and then sell her parents' $1 million home.
Yeah.
But the average house doesn't have those things. And so the value just isn't going to cover our costs at the end of it. Like Robin said, there's other things like landfill fees, and it just takes so much time to go through those boxes. And I would much rather, whether I'm charging by the hour, by the project, by the square footage. Yes, that was me, Anne. We price on square footage of the home, density of the stuff that's in it, low, medium, high, very high, and touch level, also low, medium, high, and very high. Very high would be that one that you're hand holding because they have dementia, or their house is chronically disorganized and nothing is trash and everything has to be saved. You know, all those things add time with the back and forth and the decision making. It's a big part of the time that's involved.
Mhm. I appreciate you saying that too about the real estate. That's when I'm doing the consult and they ask me, well, uh, I haven't gotten yet to the fees. So I'm telling them Maxsold takes 30% and they want to know, well, what are you taking? And I say, I'm working by the hour. Well, will I make any money at the end? And I look right in the face and go, probably not.
Mhm.
This is a way to defray the cost of emptying your house. Keep your eye on the real money, which is the real estate.
Yes.
And the same thing. I've given them examples of where my clients have actually made a profit. It was because the decluttering was very minimal, hardly any work to be done, or they had very high end items. I sold a $16,000 boat once. That was awesome. Um, you know, they have Danish teak mid-century modern furniture. I mean, but most people, it's just not that way. And but I also let them know we could sell so much of your crap.
Well, I say that you will recoup much of your downsizing expenses with the sale of your goods via Maxsold. You
Yeah,
know, that's
Yep.
and the value to most of our clients, those who are willing to go this route, the value to them is the speed in which we can get through the sale of and removal of all of their goods. Um,
yeah.
so to do it in 2 weeks is a lifesaver for them, and they don't have to do a thing. And a lot of their expenses are paid back by the proceeds.
I tell them if we break even, I really feel good that I did my job right for you. And because we're able to keep it short and be able to tell the realtor exactly when it's going to be over, realtors have become my primary referrals.
Yeah, we do the same. We just tell people it's just a way of putting money toward your bill. You're going to have to pay no matter what. So whether you donate, whether you sell it, no matter what avenue of dispersal that you take, there's still going to be a cost. So you might as well make some money to put it toward your invoice. You know, and most of our clients are fine with that. They don't even ask. We put it as a line deposit right on their invoice, comes off the bottom line, and then they pay the difference. And you're 100% right, Robin. Real estates eat this stuff up.
The
They
realtor.
eat it
Oh,
up.
I wanted to also tell everyone something I've been doing that Cesar thought was brilliant. So I love that. I have, even though we're not claiming to be stagers, I think all of us who do this know what realtors want when they're going to stage a house. And if they've already told the client, I'd like for you to leave some of your furniture here for the staging, meaning the client's furniture is nice, it's contemporary, it's attractive, then I can go in and pitch the idea that I will prepare the auction catalog. The furniture will stay in place for the staging. I will put all the lots of boxes tucked away in the garage or closets, and and then the auction can sit up there in the cloud in the portal until I get the message to launch it. And that meaning that they've sold the house. I've got 2 auctions right now just sitting waiting for the house to sell so I can do this. And this has made my services also unique. An on-site estate sale person isn't going to be able to do that. And it also makes the realtors like me a lot more because they trust that I know what they want it to look like staged, and then they can just come in and tweak it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, Robin. We have 3 properties on the go right now as well. But we, in the downsizing sorting process, we make lots right in the cupboard. So
Yeah.
that's what we do. If we have to tuck some away, we have to tuck some away. But in the sorting, discard portion of prior to listing, we basically get the house ready for the market in advance. And we make lots and leave them in the cupboards, closets, things like that.
Mhm.
That way, when we go, we just now make sure no one else wants anything else from the family. And then we put numbers on everything and do the photography.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Joan was asking if anybody passes the partner referral bonus back. And I don't know if maybe I should cover that real quick because there may be new people in the audience that don't really know what that is. Maxsold does do a revenue share with our partners. So if you run a sale for your client, basically as a thank you from Maxsold for choosing Maxsold, we're going to share with you a percentage of the money that Maxsold makes. So it's not a percentage of the whole sale, it's a percentage of the money Maxsold makes. So for instance, if it's a $10,000 sale, your client will get 70%, $7,000, and Maxsold takes 30%, $3,000. We're going to share a percentage of that $3,000 with you. So if it was 20%, we would send you $600. So that's how that works for those of you here that didn't know about that. And of course, if you are new, I'm happy to have a off camera this week, next week, bigger conversation about that. Just reach out to me. But I guess the question from Joan is anybody sending that back to their client instead of keeping it?
No.
No.
Okay. And then there's a question for Tracy. Do we still charge 30% on the first 5K and 20? So there are a few different ways that we can work how we charge commission, which is a bigger conversation, and we may want to meet offline one-on-one to discuss that because there's a few different ways to answer that question, Tracy. And if you have an account manager, they will definitely connect with you. Cesar, if you want to hop in and help with this one, you're welcome to, because I don't know, there may be people here that are working with account managers already and may have an answer to that.
Sorry, I'm not even sure. Which question are you referring to?
So Tracy was asking about, we were talking about the revenue share. The question was, does anybody give that back to the client? And then Tracy Marsh was asking, do you still charge 30% on the first 5,000, 20%
Oh, I see.
following that? And it's changed a little bit.
Right, yeah, it's a little bit different now, so it's best to contact your customer success manager to go over that just because it is a little bit of a mouthful. And yeah, so it's easier just to contact your customer success manager and go from there. Thank you.
And if you're new, you reach out to me. I'll put my contact info when we're at the end of this webinar so you can. But I guess the answer is nobody here does that. Nobody here remits their Maxsold proceeds to the client. Yeah, I haven't either. I know that there are some partners that do. And I suspect it's been on a per project basis that they've made that decision to do that. It may come down to whatever the agreement they have worked out as far as charging their client and what they want to do.
Heather, I just want to pitch in what I do with my bonus.
Yeah.
I split it among my team as bonuses. And it makes a huge difference in the morale and keeping them on my team.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Let's see. We have some more questions here. Oh, Joanne said, I gave my first client a percentage back as a thank you for choosing me. Well, that was nice. And Judith says, success strategy to avoid $1 sales. Okay. Yeah. Well, we would like to help you not have a $1 sale. We're feeling very confident over here at Maxsold that we can help you not do that. 20 minutes left, and we do have some more questions. All right. So we've covered actually a lot of these in our conversation. So, what are the most common pricing misconceptions clients have, and how do you respond? So, misconceptions or misperceptions about what they're paying for.
What they're paying for or what their items are worth.
You know, those are both irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, those are both two things I'd imagine you tackle when going into this. So
Yeah.
respond to either. Yeah.
Danielle, it looked like you were about to speak.
No, sweet. I thought you were going to go. You want to go?
Oh. Well, talking about what they think their stuff is worth is one of the most common things we all deal with. And you have to have that come to Jesus talk with them about what's really valuable anymore. I go back to the only furniture that's really got value is Danish mid-century modern. Anything else is just, I mean, I could sell IKEA better than I could sell antiques. I have to remind people that I'm in a very rural area that's dominated by older people who are downsizing. So limited people who are going to want these items. So as far as, trying to get them prepared for what things are going to sell and what they're going to get that's just standard part of the consult. No one's ever asked me to defend my pricing.
In our consultation, we
Explain to clients that household contents are worth 1 to 5% of the original value. And I'm not kidding. I sit there very frank. Well, I mean, I have a salesman, I have a sales team at at our corporate office. And this is how we train people. Your maximum value is your property. Really and truly though, when you look at the Maxsold sales and things like that, unless they have a really rare painting, sure, we got 15 grand for a painting one time and nobody in the family wanted the painting. They hated the painting. The husband said, throw that thing in the trash. And then it got 15 grand at an auction. And I said to the daughter, boy, you're sure sorry you didn't take that home now. On a Maxsold sale actually. And, but, really and truly, most common sense, most things are worth 1 to 5% of what you pay originally. You lived it, you have memories there, things like that, and that's how we explain to people. So there's no misconception when we give people the report. If they want to look at it, we give them the printout report from Maxsold so they can see. Some people find it comical, some people, but we explain to them that really and truly your biggest asset is your property, and your household contents are just a way of putting money towards the bill to clear the home.
And I'll just add that most of our sellers who are overvaluing their items, they may be looking at places like eBay to see what they're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And those are their words. This is what this is worth. I saw it online. And so one piece of education is you've got to edit the filter and select the box that says sold items, because anyone can ask anything for anything. It doesn't mean they're going to get it. And if they are going to get it, it's probably going to take months or years and a lot of effort. So value is very misunderstood. And there's so many places where they're going for it that aren't accurate. We tell them the value's in their heart, and they've already lived with it and loved it for all those years. So now we're just going to get what someone else thinks it's worth, because everything in life is only worth what someone's willing to pay. Yes.
So, we talk about that, the value is within you because it has meaning to you. But now when we open it up to others, what is their perception of value? Because we all have our own perception of value with our own things. And when we sell it to others, the other person has to feel the same value, or they're not going to pay as much as you think that they're going to pay. So I find sometimes when we talk about things like that and spend a little more time talking about the auction process, and what their value is, I find that we, have really good chats with our clients. And sorry, I don't know who's coming in my front door, but anyway, someone is. And just so that way they understand and they're not sad, but they sure do laugh when those household chemicals sell for 60, 70, 80, $90 that they were open and used, but,
Yeah.
but their couch went for $1, you know? So yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but they find it very comical.
Yes,
So.
and Joan and Tracy hopped in to add to that. Good points. Joan said it's important to help clients differentiate between resale and retail. So they need to understand a Maxsold sale isn't an antique mall or a brand new item at the shopping mall. And Tracy said some potential sellers get caught up on the minimum bid of $1 or the lack of the reserve. The panelists' comments help to respond to that. So thank you for that. She always says it doesn't matter where the auction starts, it only matters where it ends. And then somebody did ask if any of you ever run traditional in-person estate sales. And I'll add to that, have you? And if you don't anymore, why?
I have not, but I have shopped traditional estate sales. That's another misconception. People come to us with they think that this is how we might do it. It's going to be a 2-day sale. There's going to be people coming in and it's going to be an on-site auction, versus an on-site estate sale. And I know that with a traditional estate sale, in most cases, maybe half of it didn't sell because everything was priced too high. So my sellers have been comfortable with listing it at $1 because they understand that that's the only way to get competitive bidding. If you're going to price it high and then mark it off half on day 2 and that person isn't willing to pay half either, then it's just left to be liquidated without a paper trail. Couldn't even buy it back if they wanted to because the estate seller is just gonna take it to their booth. I've seen that happen as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
When I first,
go ahead. Sorry, Robin. The other thing is
when I
too,
first moved here, I was going to do on-site estate sales, but God, it was awful. And there was another senior move manager in the territory already, and she's kind of the queen of the on-site estate sales. She's got a huge email list. And you know what? When I started doing the auctions as she does the on-site, that makes it a very clear differentiation for clients. Which way they want to go, they can go either way and get what they want. And more power to her for doing on-site, more power to me for doing online.
yeah. The other thing is too, if something goes for $1 and your client's upset, you just let them know. What if I had to bring 2 people here with a truck, go to the dump? Because if somebody bought it for $1, the likelihood of St. Vincent de Paul, Habitat for Humanity to actually take it away for free could be minimal. So sometimes that's how I explain it to people. Furniture sales are much lower than the smalls. The smalls sell higher than your furniture. People call me and say, can you do an auction? All I have is furniture left. Amazing, amazing furniture. I'm like, but if furniture doesn't always fetch what you think it's going to fetch, all of your smalls would have helped, create that auction to be full and have variety, because variety, is the key to it all, right? And but yeah. So I said, it would have cost you $200 to get rid of the couch. Thank God they gave you $1 and moved it themselves.
Oh my God. Right?
True.
The piano. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank God they came.
Right, exactly. So a couple more questions here. Do you guys market your own sales? Do you use Facebook? Hopefully everybody knows that Maxsold does do a significant amount of marketing. But what do you guys do?
I do. I market a lot. I create a marketing flyer for each and every auction. I use that to create an ad on Marketplace, and I belong to 30 some odd buy sell sites on Facebook. So once I create the ad, all I have to do is share it all to each one. And then every 2 days, I re-up that ad and I just changed the title. So now it's 6 days left. It's 4 days left, 2 days, right till I get to the last day when I post last chance to bid. I also post it on Nextdoor and I have my own email list.
So we, oh, go ahead. So we do something similar to Robin as well. But we were trying to actually find more followers. Every event that we went to, we were saying, did you know that we do online auctions? Follow us on our auctions, and we started a QR code. But I'm just trying to figure out how we are just trying to find out how that actually went. I haven't did the research on how that QR code worked. That way, you know, people, you're going to an event of any kind, senior event, home show, out and about, people can scan a QR code to follow your auctions. That way they know when you have auctions. But yeah, we do some heavy Facebook, Marketplace, Etsy, Twitter, Instagram. We put it everywhere.
We boost our Facebook and Instagram posts looking for additional followers as well. We like to tell the story with who we just served, what's, you know, what their transition details are, because it's not just gaining exposure from potential buyers of the items, but also potential clients for us in the future for all of their downsizing needs. But I like both Robin and Danielle's you know, the buy sell sites. That's interesting. I know that maybe some of them may have in their rules you can't advertise on here for a company. So that's pretty cool that you've got 30 of them that you can do that in, Robin.
Yeah, none of them have that issue. Craigslist has that issue. So I don't advertise on Craigslist.
Yeah, we do buy and sell well, we have Kijiji in Canada. I don't know if you have Kijiji over there, but we don't have Craigslist over here. Well, not in my area anyway. Maybe in Toronto, but not here.
We have the link to our Maxsold shop page on our website too. So I'm often referring people there to see our past sales, and hopeful that my search engine optimization is working and people are finding us that way as well with our shop page.
I've actually created a item for sale on Facebook, and I say the cost is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I put the link, the URL link in there, my top 10 favorite photos of my sale. And then after I do that, I choose the 20 buy and sell groups I've joined to boost it into. And then, as you guys know, you can opt for boosted ads with what you put on Facebook, which is awesome. More questions, and I know we're getting down there with time. Kathy
Heather,
said,
just quickly cut you off there, and just want to add that right now Maxwell has added a new initiative as well with our paid social ads. Right now, we are focusing on more accurate targeting. We're also selecting the certain images by
Bye.
reviewing up to 100 lots of that auction to make sure that we're showcasing the highest value that we have in our current database. Also, we're doing that to ensure that we're creating a proper title and description for the auction itself, and also giving a better keyword selection for the Google segmentation. And actually, yeah, that's actually all. And we are also doing up to 6 images on our paid social media ads as well. That's actually pretty new, about 7 days ago. So just something to keep that in mind.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you for letting everybody know. So Kathy asked, do you get the proceeds from Maxsold and turn it over to your client, or do you have Maxsold pay your client directly? What do you guys do?
Maxsold pays client directly.
Yeah.
Nope. Maxwell pays me direct and I take it off their bill. This way I ensure that I get paid.
Yeah.
I've only done that twice when I was concerned about not getting paid. Well, maybe 3 times, because one client was in Europe, and but mostly no. I have Maxsold send it directly to the client.
Yeah. That's how one thing that we started from the very beginning. I've been doing Maxsold for 8 years, I believe. And I actually learned that from someone else, that they were doing the same thing just to ensure it's seamless. Here's, the max. So here's your Maxsold proceeds on the invoice, and then here's your balance.
Awesome. And then Janelle wanted to know, do you engage everybody on your team to do marketing, or do you have one designated person, or to just you do the marketing?
Just me.
Okay.
A lot of people on our team will share it. They'll share it on their own pages. Because some of our team watches it close, some of our team finds it exciting. We find it, it's fun to watch and also engage with our clients sometimes. So we encourage all of our team to share it. Then that way we get maximum exposure for our clients as well, right?
Right.
Awesome. Now we have to wrap up here. So we have a quick rapid fire question, as Cesar calls it, for each of you to answer. We'll start with Robin. The question is going to be, what is the best auction result you have gotten from what you thought was a low value item that surprised you? Can you think of anything? And if you can't, you can tell us just something that sold in a way that surprised you.
We had one just recently in an auction. We all were asking ourselves, what the heck was this? Somebody would pay nearly $400 for that Pier 1 dresser. It was painted, but I mean, $400. Anyway, yeah, that one threw me. But it'd be hard to think back on all of the ones I've done for what surprised me the most. There's always been a few. It'd be easier for me to tell you what's the weirdest thing I ever sold or weirdest stuff I ever came across. So do the round.
How about you, Danielle? What is the most surprising thing that sold?
The picture on the Sears catalog at the back, and it was like best value, like patio set. And it sold for $400. I don't know, was it like $10.99, $1,099? Like, why would someone want that? First of all, Sears went bankrupt like years ago. If the set's probably like more than 20 years old. Coincidentally, my mom's cousin was bidding on it, and she called me saying, "Are you making it go higher on purpose?" And I was like, "No, this is online." So then, because she called my mom, then my mom was calling me, then my aunt was calling me, and I was like, "You people are crazy. This is like all online." It sold for $400. Then she came to pick up something else, and she said, "Oh, you're the person who was making it go higher." Well, yeah, she wanted it too. Like, I
Takes
don't
two
know.
people.
Hello,
One
for a
thing.
Sears, this is back at the Sears catalog special with the flowered cushions and the plastic straps. I don't know, anyway. $400.
Nicole, do you have any that you could share?
Sure. The first thing that always comes to mind with this question is a card table and chairs that sold for $140. It was certainly not worth that. I have no idea. I mean, they just had to have it. And that's the thing. The pricing goes up so excitedly in the very end because multiple people have to have it. So a lot of things will sell for more than their true value.
Awesome. I'm going to
Yeah.
share with everybody the last code word, which is going to be pricing on that note. The first code word was hourly, and the second one is pricing. If you do want a certificate for CEU credits, you can email me. I'm going to put my contact info in the chat. Feel free to email me those code words, and I'll get you a certificate of attendance from Maxsold. I want to thank Robin and Danielle and Nicole today very much for being here and sharing your wisdom and your experience. And thank you on behalf of Maxsold. Cesar and I and Maxsold are so grateful for everything you have done to serve clients, choosing Maxsold to do so. And everybody else out there that is doing that and considering to do it, we're very excited to be here to support you. And thanks so much. Cesar, is there anything you want to say? the end
No,
here?
well, thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. Robin, Nicole, Danielle, thank you for taking the time to participate. Definitely appreciate it. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of their evening.
Thank you. This was fun.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
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 Bye.